Hey everyone, it's Tiffany T. I'm here with Dino Gomez, and we're doing another interview for inspirational people doing amazing things in life. And today we are really fortunate to have Virin Gomber, and he is just one heck of a guy. He's a success coach, or a success strategy coach, I guess I should say, a mindful trainer, and he's an inspirational speaker. Oh, yes. And then he's also a co-author of a book that is a bestseller on Amazon. So that's just a little tiny bit about what he does. I'll let him go into the explanations. But Virin, we're so glad to have you with us today. And thank you so much for your time and for even agreeing to come on our Inspiring People Doing Amazing Things. So why don't you tell us a little bit more about yourself, who you are, where you're going, what you're doing in life?
All right, awesome. Thanks, Tiffany, for having me and inviting me in to talk to you and to everyone out there. And thanks, Dino. Nice to meet you as well. That was quite a great introduction, so I appreciate that. So what about me? If I had to really describe myself, yes, I'm a success strategy coach, mindfulness trainer, and inspirational speaker. That's only three of the key things that I do at the moment. What does a success strategy coach mean? Basically, people would wonder. It's kind of quite a sort of a flash title, but what I do basically is I actually help people become top achievers in their game, whatever they're doing, whatever they want to achieve in life, personal or professional. And I work mainly with driven individuals and small to medium businesses to achieve awesomeness in their life, because I believe we're all really, really awesome. We just have forgotten our awesomeness. We just don't know where we've lost it. So what I do is I kind of really facilitate that process of helping them to find that rediscover their awesomeness. So how do I do it? How do I make that happen? So when I work with people, my aim is to inspire them, to motivate them, and actually to propel them into taking action, and also to really help them get into a state of empowered consciousness. And it's usually a mix of really good positive energy, some humor, and some infotainment. It's very important. People actually, I strongly believe people can progress in life if they're having fun and they're enjoying what they're doing. So I actually deliver a unique blend of some success strategies and mindfulness, because I know mindfulness is kind of the word out there, the buzzword out there at the moment, and it's actually quite amazing. I'm quite pleased that this is happening, and it's been used. Probably you all know that it's been used everywhere these days. At big corporations, Google, Apple, they're using it, and down to all the smaller organizations and even individuals who are using it for various purposes. And there's hundreds of different forms of mindfulness being used these days to help people deal with stress, to help people be present. Which has this is such a simple phrase, just being present, but it has such powerful implications in our life, and people who actually experience it, only they can actually give you that testimonial around mindfulness. Okay, this is really very, very powerful. And generally, my goal is actually, I'm moving towards my goal of sharing my knowledge with people globally, because I have this vision of collective growth and consciousness, and that's actually the underlying thread for everything that I do.
That's awesome. I love it.
Virin, I have to ask you this question off the script here, because I find it so interesting. Mindfulness, as you said, it's not trending right now, but it's a strategy and a concept that is very popular. And do you happen to think that like that mindfulness, people being focused on the present, what they're doing at this exact moment, do you think that's more of an issue today because of all of this technology where people are distracted by their phones and the tweets and the messages, notifications, and it makes it harder for them to just sit down and either just think or accomplish one particular task?
Yes, very good question, Dino, and you've rightly pointed it out. That's what's happening today. Is that we have so much happening around us these days. All the information overload. People are checking their emails on their phones, watching TV at the same time, eating at the same time, checking their Facebook messages, Twitter messages, Snapchat, and whatnot. And that's actually become a lot more challenging for people to be present doing just one thing. And obviously what that has done is actually, because our brains are not really designed to multitask, and most organizations, when they hire people, they say, oh, we need people who can multitask, but that's actually not that's actually quite counterproductive in the long run. People think if I can do 5 tasks at a time, or even 3 tasks at a time, I'm kind of really a super person, Superman or Superwoman. But at the same time, that's not helping. What's happening is because our brains are like computers. And if you've seen, like, if you give more than 3 or 4 commands to your computer, sometimes it just freezes, right? And you have to just reboot it because it just heats up. And that's what happens to our brain. It's like a supercomputer. You know, when we give it more than 1, 2, 3, 4 commands, it just has to galvanize all the resources from wherever it can to make that happen, and it heats up, and then suddenly you kind of accumulate that stress. It kind of manifests in the form of a headache, migraine, arthritis, blood pressure, heart attack, stroke, whatever, you know. And certainly, so you rightly pointed it out. It's become even more important in this day and age to actually be more focused when what they're doing. And it's, people sometimes think, oh, if I can do 3 tasks, 4 tasks at a time, I can achieve more. But that's actually a myth. Most of the times, if we are just focusing on 1 task at a time, we are 10 times more productive.
I agree.
Interesting. Yeah. What were you going to say there, Tiff?
Oh, I agree. I'm guilty of being one of those people that is multitasked, but I don't do a bad job at it, of course, because I'm perfect at everything. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not. No, but it is. You're more efficient. You're more able to get things done and also get them done faster and compared to if you're doing 1,000,001 things around that project. So that's really nice that you pointed it out. And that was your answer. So, and I know you're like super intelligent and you're really brilliant in everything. So I just wanted to ask, what is your perception or understanding of happiness? Like, what does that mean to you?
Well, to start with, well, I would say I'm still learning all these things as I go, because there's so much to learn. There's so much to even if we kind of feel or think that we have reached a stage that we've learned a lot, there's still a million more things to learn. Because what's happening is we are evolving all the time. The world around us is evolving all the time, and we have new things happening, new technologies happening, and so we can't just stay smug. Okay, I've learned everything, I don't need to learn anymore, because when learning stops, we stop to grow, and our brain starts to decay. So coming back to your question of what's my perception of success, I feel, and I believe happiness. Sorry, and happiness, I believe, is basically a state of mind. You know, it's actually the coolest thing. It's the most precious thing, as you know, everyone is looking for it, right? Everyone is looking for happiness all the time, and not many people can find it. Sometimes we think that we have, okay, and we we go to the movies, we have a really great time, we had fun, you know, went to the pub and had a drink and a couple of drinks, and we had really good fun, and we're happy. Then we come back and then we start to stress again about what's happening in our real life, right? And but so where's happiness? I mean, as soon as we start to define happiness, it is basically it's just a lot of what's happening in our mind. See more in it's something that comes from within us. So actually, probably a good idea if I kind of tell you a story. I love this story whenever I'm talking about happiness. That actually is kind of really gives me still gives me goosebumps whenever I'm actually thinking about it, telling the story to others, sharing with others. So once there was a group of 50 people who was attending a seminar, and the speaker suddenly stopped and decided to give them a group activity, and he started giving each one a balloon, and each one was asked to write their name on it using a marker pen, and then all the balloons were collected and they were put in another room. Now these delegates or attendees, they were actually let into that room and asked to find the balloon which had their own name written within 5 minutes. They had this deadline of 5 minutes to find their own balloon. So everyone was frantically searching for their name, and colliding with each other and pushing around others, and there was great chaos, right, as you can imagine. So at the end of 5 minutes, not a single person was able to find their own balloon. Now what the speaker did was he said, now he asked each one of them to randomly collect a balloon and give it to the person whose name was written on it. And within minutes, everyone had their balloon on them, right? The speaker just really summed it up very beautifully. He said that's exactly what happens in our lives. Everyone is frantically looking for happiness all around and not knowing where it is. And our happiness lies in the happiness of other people. You give them their happiness and you will get your own happiness. So that's what I believe in as well. It's actually, if you make other people happy, that's what truly makes you happy.
I love it. Thank you for sharing that story. You're the first person that shared a story. I love stories.
Okay.
Yeah, I hadn't heard of that one before. That makes a ton of sense. What a great way to teach that concept, really, or show that concept. That's powerful. That's incredible. And that actually, what we'll do here is then we'll transition a little bit, and because these questions kind of overlap here. Virin, so what would you say then is your perception of success, and does that have any relation to your perception or otherwise what happiness might be for an individual?
Yes, absolutely. I believe that there's two levels of success. There's one of them is internal, and the other one is external. So basically, what that means is internal means what success means to you. How you measure your success, and external is what it means to the world around you, how they measure your success. So there's two levels of it, if you can imagine that. So your definition of success is usually a mix of those two ingredients. Whatever success means to you would be a result of those two aspects. And obviously the formula or the equation of success is different for everyone depending upon their life circumstances. For someone in this world, success would mean crossing the six-figure mark, six-figure income mark, getting into the seven-figure mark, becoming a millionaire or whatever. And for someone else in the world, walking 10 kilometers and having access to drinking water is success. So it's very, very different for everyone. But I think a simple definition, if you ask me, of success is manifesting anything we desire. That's the simplest way of thinking about it. And the key is how to do it, how to manifest what you desire, how to be successful. And actually, always think of this when I think of success is basically success is nothing more than a few simple disciplines practiced every day. right? If you want to be successful in your job, you have to have a series of rituals every single day that you practice every day, and that's how you become successful in that job. You deliver that success to your role. If you want to have an amazing looking body, you have to have a ritual, a habit, a pattern of going to the gym or working out at home or doing yoga, or so you achieve that great body, and that basically leads you to success. But I also believe that success doesn't come without experiencing any fear and any kind of failure. So failure is a key part of the success journey. Some people say, "Oh, failure is opposite success," but I think failure is part of that process of achieving success. If you don't fail at anything, you're not learning anything. You're not making mistakes. You're not learning, and you can't achieve the level of success you want.
I absolutely agree. I always say that there's no such thing as failure. There's only feedback.
Exactly.
So I love that.
That's interesting, because you said a couple of things there, Virin. You said, first off, it's success is a lot based on perception and circumstance. And, there's no way to define what's the correct definition of happiness or success, but I definitely resonate with the perception thing. I kind of always am keeping that in mind. And kind of like you said, and you touched on the failure thing there. I mean, I wonder, do you think people can feel achievement if they reach an end destination without any tribulation or any hard path? If somebody immediately achieves what they're looking for, is it as fulfilling, or do they need that failure for it to feel like more of a success, do you think?
Yeah, of course. When you achieve success very easily, people don't value it as much. But if they get to the end point through some trials and tribulations and challenges, and actually doing something to overcome those challenges, it becomes the end point becomes much more enjoyable, more delicious. They value it much more. It would taste more delicious than if it was given it to you on a platter. It's like if you're born with a silver spoon. A lot of those people who are born in rich families, for example, financially rich families, they don't value money. They don't value money as much as they should, or they don't value how to spend it well. They don't value how to earn it, because they were just given those and we've had kind of really heard of lots of stories where people have really gone bankrupt just because they didn't value what they had. And certainly it's important to actually, even if success is given to you on a platter, to actually try and savor each step towards getting there.
Right. Love your perspective. Okay. And then also what we really, really are so interested in knowing, what's the most profound thing that's happened to you this far in life?
There's been a number of profound events in my life that have changed me as a person, helped me to grow as a person. Well, one of the things is actually, I actually a few years ago, I went through a really tough phase in my life, in my personal life especially, and that actually had an impact on my professional life too. And then actually at that stage, I realized, because I was looking for answers for my challenges around that time, and I was wondering why am I going through this? What's the reason? How I can get all through on the other side successfully and efficiently, and really managing the situation well and understanding why it's happening to me. And so what happens is we always look to change the world around us to so we can be happier. We want to change the people around us, our parents, our teachers, our friends, our partner, brother or sister. We want them to change so we can be happy, because we don't like some of the stuff they may be doing. And so we want to change the circumstances, the people, the environment around us to suit our needs so we can be happy. And this is actually one of our biggest mistakes. What we need to do is, what I understood from that phase is that we need to change ourselves internally, our mindset, our beliefs, our perspectives. We need to grow our skills. We need to change our thoughts around things so we can deal better with what life gives us. So more important than what happens to us is how we deal with that, with what happens to us, and what we become when overcoming those challenges, how we grow, how we evolve to make things possible for us. So that's actually, it's been the most profound thing that has happened to me, and a key lesson from that learning has been valuing communication. For me, the communication is huge for me. I mean, again, communication has two levels of it: how you communicate to yourself and how you communicate with others, and that actually determines a lot of our results in our life. The way we communicate with ourselves, so most of the time we don't value our own being, our own self, as much as we value things around us, and that can change a lot of things for us. So we need to start valuing how I communicate with myself. Do I respect myself enough? Do I love myself? Do I appreciate who I am today? Am I being grateful for that? And so I have to really keep telling myself to help me to actually keep empowering myself to do things that would change things around me, rather than me expecting them to change. I have to change first.
Yeah, like be the change you wish to see in the world.
Exactly.
Kind of concept. Love it.
It's just so the profound thing was the realization of having to, basically how you communicate with yourself, you were saying, and how you communicate with others, and then essentially how you treat yourself, though, that makes all of the difference of the quality of your life.
Absolutely. Yeah. So there was the realization, the point of understanding, and we actually learn, we get to learn that a number of times in our life, but we just need to be alert, to be aware of when that happens, and pick it up and start using it.
Self-monitoring the emotions and the thoughts and everything.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
I'm all about that.
Well, great, Vern. We have enjoyed asking you these different series of questions here, and this is so interesting because this seems to be like the industry that you specialize in, and so your feedback's has been incredible here. I'm sure more people are going to want to learn more about you and want to figure out how they can follow you to get some more insight. So where would be the best place for people to find you online, or otherwise go ahead and keep up with what you're up to?
Yeah, that's very important, and that's important for me as well, in terms of the fact that, because my goal, as I said earlier, was to connect with millions of people out there globally, because I think we all have a stake in it. We all connected in one way or another, and so it's important that we ignite that connection that's there, but we're not using it. So yes, on my website, Virin, www.viringomber.com, or you can find me on my Facebook and Twitter accounts. Facebook is Virin Gomber, and of course, as I'm expecting in the next 5 years, we will have a lot more connection options apart from some of the ones that we regularly use. That's Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn. I'm expecting a flood of other technological tech options, and it's amazing how technology is really bringing us all together. I love it.
Yes, it is. It blows my mind every day.
Yeah.
It's just cool. Well, it seems like it's radically changed recently too. People are starting to use it more for business connections or hobby connections and so forth, dating connections. It's exactly. Interesting.
Yeah,
it's interesting there. Well, Virin, do you have any other parting words, advice, or anything else you'd kind of like to say to everyone listening in today?
Well, I actually love to really usually leave people with the thought that they can they can really go back and start using it straight away. That's I mean, there's again, as we discussed earlier, there's so much happening in our lives that we get distracted, and we are not really able to focus on one thing at a time. So my thought for the day would be to actually just think of one thing that you've been thinking for a long time and you haven't taken any action towards it, whether it's a small goal or a big goal, and just go back and think about it. Just sit down 5 minutes, switch off your phone, your Facebook, your Twitter, your emails, everything. Just sit down 5 minutes with yourself. Close your eyes if you like, and think of how you can make that happen. What is it you can do? What's the smallest step you can take today to move towards that goal? And I mean, use technology for that. Use a kick-ass app to make you more organized. And that would actually, once you take the first smallest action, that would actually kick you into momentum. You would start to see so many big changes suddenly happening in your life.
I agree, and I love that.
It's awesome. It's as simple as spending 5 minutes to actually think and not be distracted. It's funny, but that's the truth. I actually found myself saying that last night as I found a moment to just think while lying down on the couch without the TV on.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah, I mean, having said that, I mean, I've been guilty of that in the past. That's how I learned, and so I still see that happening to me sometimes. But I know now how to get out of it quickly. So I can, the snap of a finger, I would just switch off everything and focus.
And relax, yeah, and think. Well, perfect. Well, Tiff, do you have anything else that you wanted to say for today?
No, just that it's such a pleasure to have you with us, and especially for, being the coach and mindful trainer that you are. I really, really love your humor and your enthusiasm and your positive energy that you bring to the table with all of it. And I'm sure whoever works with you does too. So I respect that about you. And I think you've got amazing insight. And I love the fact that you want to bring everybody together on a global scale, because we all are connected, we're all one, but it seems like you're up to real good stuff, and I can't wait to see what you're going to do in the future.
Thank you so much, Tiffany, and thank you, Dino. It's been an amazing 25 minutes, 30 minutes that I've spent with you. It's been the most valuable ones for me, and I love all your energy as well. So thank you again, and I look forward to staying in touch with you guys.
Me do too.
Thank you so much for your time, Virin, and we have learned a ton from you today. Thanks for putting it all in perspective there, what happiness and success is for each and every one of us. So we appreciate you, and thanks everybody for tuning in to another episode of Inspiring People Doing Amazing Things. Thanks again, Virgin Gomber, for visiting us. You can check him out on his website, viringomber.com. And otherwise, we will catch you guys in the next episode.